Hello everyone, it's Becca from Becca Books and Bujo, and it is time to haul some new books. And when I say new books, I just mean new to me books because most of these are used. But I have quite a few books that I have acquired since December, I think was my last haul. So yeah, we're gonna chat about them. I have them kind of grouped into categories of how I acquired them. So let's start with gifted books. I have a couple of books that were gifted to me. The first was actually from our children's ministry coordinator at my church, and it is called Meditation for the Modern Family: Over 100 Practices to Help Families Find Peace, Calm, and Connection by Kelly Smith. And I don't know, I feel like that seems a little bit chaotic to do with a 2- and 4-year-old, but it might be something that we would look forward to when I have a little bit older children. There are different meditation practices for anxiety, insomnia, sadness, forgiveness, worthiness, self-confidence. So I think that this could just be a great reference book for us in the future when our kids are dealing with things and we need to take a moment and find some peace. So excited to see what this has to offer. And then, kind of a unique gift, for Christmas, my mom got me The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride, but she also got it as a collective gift for me and my sisters. So this is not my book. I'm actually considering it my mom's book, but once I read it, I have to pass it on to one of my sisters, and then they will pass it on to the other sister, and then we'll pass it back to mom, and we will all read it and discuss it, maybe. Or just talk about it, who knows. But this was Barnes & Noble's Book of the Year, winner of the National Book Award. I haven't actually read anything by James McBride, but I have Deacon King Kong on my shelves, and I mean, I've just heard really good things. It says it's a novel about small town secrets and the people who keep them. Well, I live in a small town and have lived in a small town for most of my adult life, and I actually really like it, but definitely there are secrets and interesting things that can be found out about people in small towns. This looks like it takes place in 1972, and when workers are digging the foundations for some new housing, they find a human skeleton, and they need to figure out who that skeleton belongs to. What person that body belongs to. Anyway, I'm excited. I've heard it's phenomenal and happy to read it and then pass it on to my sisters. Next up is my Book of the Month books. So in January, I got Mercury by Amy Jo Burns. I know nothing about this except small town theme we have going on with these books so far. It says, a roofing family's bonds of loyalty are tested when they uncover a long hidden secret at the heart of their blue collar town. It's 1990, and 17-year-old Marley West is blazing into the River Valley town of Mercury, Pennsylvania. A perpetual loner, she seeks a place at someone's table and a family of her own. The first thing she sees when she arrives in town is 3 men standing on a rooftop. Their silhouettes blot out the sun. It looks like the Joseph brothers own this company. Soon she is wife to one and the one who got away from the other. So, I don't know. Should be good, maybe. I've heard okay things. There weren't any that really drew my attention in January when I got this, but this was the one that looked the best to me. It's literary fiction. I like that kind of a book. So that was January. February, of course, I got The Women. I don't need to talk about this book anymore, do I? It's just phenomenal. It's the best. Yeah, I love it. It's a historical fiction by Kristen Hanna. Her historical fiction happened to be some of my favorites. This follows a young woman who enlists in the Army Nurse Corps and serves in Vietnam. And it's about her time in Vietnam, but then also when she returns from Vietnam and how she is treated pretty poorly back in the US. So, super good. I also got an add-on that month, Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I want to read more fantasy for some reason, and you'll see that in my next pick, but I don't know, I've heard such great things about this young adult fantasy. It seems like these 2 young people write letters to each other, magical letters, and I love letter writing, epistolary. I don't necessarily know if it's epistolary. Well, there are some letters in here for sure, but these people are communicating via letters and then fall in love, and there's magic, and yeah, I think I'll like it. I think, based on what I've seen. Okay, here goes. March pick. Romantasy. A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. Danielle L. Jensen. This is book 1 of Saga of the Unfated series. It is a new romantasy based on Norse mythology, I think. It says, a shield maiden, blessed by the gods, battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king, while fighting her growing desire for his fiery son in this Norse-inspired fantasy romance. I'm intrigued. I like Norse-inspired things. I went to a college where our mascot was the Norse, and so I went a little rogue and decided to go with this one. But I have heard pretty good things from people that I've seen read this, so yay. I'm a little disappointed. I was at Barnes & Noble the other day and I saw like these metallic blue edges on the Barnes & Noble edition, but I got this one for Book of the Month price, which I appreciate. And then we got to choose our Book of the Year from Book of the Month, and I chose Shark Heart, a love story by Emily Habeck. No clue how you say that last name. Sorry. Not that Emily will ever watch this. But this is a literary fiction about a gentleman who has a disease that slowly turns him into a shark. What? But I've heard really great things. It's a gorgeous debut novel of marriage, motherhood, metamorphosis, and letting go. This intergenerational love story begins with newlyweds Ren and her husband, Lewis, a man who, over the course of 9 months, transforms into a great white shark. I'm gonna try it. Plus the cover is really, really beautiful. I decided to get one ebook in this time period. It was actually a free one from Amazon First Choice or whatever it's called. The book is called When the World Goes Quiet by Gian Sardar. It is a World War I historical fiction, and it looks like we're following an aspiring artist's journey in a novel about love, danger, and survival. So yeah, it is I'm at a loss for words right now, sorry. It's 1918 in German-occupied Bruges, Belgium. With luck, Avelien will make it to the end of the war and be given what she was... This synopsis doesn't make grammatical sense. Okay, it's at the end of the war. There's artwork involved and a friendship between a soldier and this artist. That's what I'm giving you. We'll see. We will see. Next up, let's chat about the books I got at the library book sale. If you saw my vlog from a couple of weeks ago, or just last week, you'll have seen all of these, but I'll tell you a little bit more about why I got them. And it's a hefty stack, people. Okay, so the first one is Rump by Liesl Shurtleff. I had just seen Krista recommend this in one of her middle grade March videos, recommendation videos, and it is a retelling of the fairy tale Rumpelstiltskin. And my son, Theo, is getting more into listening to chapter books. This might be a little bit above his level. He's only 4, but a recommendation from Krista means I gotta try it. So this was one of the middle grades I got. I got a lot of middle grade or kids chapter books. I picked up a copy of The One and Only Ivan for 50 cents. People, I love a library book sale. I love this series by Catherine Applegate. This is the first in the series where we follow a gorilla who lives in a mall, and he has friends in a dog and an elephant, and it's just such a unique look into the mind of a gorilla. Catherine Applegate writes animals really well, and I loved it. It's sweet, it touches your heart, and I love this series, and I'm so happy to own the first one. Theodore will love this. He loves gorillas, thanks to Tarzan. This one I actually got at the Friends of the Library shop in our library, but I'm counting it as a library book sale book. This is Old Babes in the Wood by Margaret Atwood. This is a collection of her stories. And I recently read The Mother's something. Mother... a short story by Margaret Atwood, and I really enjoyed it. She writes so well. I have loved all of the books that I've read by Margaret Atwood, and I am interested in seeing some of her short stories. She just has such a way of telling you a story, but then also making that story have meaning in your life and what you should do with that. Oh, it's called My Evil Mother, and it's in this collection, which is okay. I actually really enjoyed that story, and so I own it on my Kindle, but now I own it in print too. But it looks like there are 10 other stories in here, and if they're as good as My Evil Mother, I will be very happy, because that just like made me think. And it was about motherhood and the things you do as a mom to take care of your kids. So anyway, I'm excited to have this, and it's like a pristine new copy. So yay, thanks library. Okay, I'm just going in order here of this stack. Sorry, lighting is goofy. I record in my basement, and we do what we can with the lighting. Okay, I got Because of Winn-Dixie by Kate DiCamillo. This needs no introduction. I read this as a young child, and I would love to read it to Theodore. Oh, such a sweet story about a girl and her dog. Okay, Refugee by Alan Gratz, another middle grade I'm so happy to own. I read it a couple of years ago, I think on the recommendation of Krista again. If you don't know Krista, I'll link her down below. She's a wonderful lady and booktuber. This follows 3 different young people as they are escaping their home countries. Another middle grade that I think my son will love. This is Flora and Ulysses by Kate DiCamillo, and this is about a squirrel who's a superhero, a flying superhero? I don't know. There are fun like illustrations and comic book-esque parts of this story, and I'm excited to jump into it with Theo. I have read it before, and I really liked it. I've heard some people don't like this one as much as other Kate DiCamillos, but I still like it, and I'm happy I can add it to my shelves. We picked up the first in the series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. This is The Bad Beginning. This might be a little old for Theo, but one that I would love to read to him once he's a little bit older, and it's just the start of a really fun series. And so, yeah, we picked up this one. Why do I buy multiple copies of one book? Because I have Malibu Rising in hardcover, and I got this one too. Because I just love to give books, and so if the time ever arises where I feel like someone who needs this book shows up in my life, I can just give it to them. Or maybe I'll sell it. Who knows? But I love Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this is a great story about the 4 children of a music superstar. I got Just Mercy by Bryan Stevenson. I already have this on my shelves, but it's lent out to someone, and I haven't read it. And this is a nonfiction about Bryan Stevenson, who is a lawyer and was representing a gentleman on death row for committing a crime that he didn't do. From one of the most brilliant and influential lawyers of our time comes an unforgettable true story about the redeeming potential of mercy. Bryan Stevenson was a gifted young attorney when he founded the Equal Justice Initiative, a legal practice dedicated to defending the poor, the wrongly condemned, and those trapped in the furthest reaches of our criminal justice system. One of his first cases was that of Walter McMillian, a young man sentenced to die for a notorious murder he didn't commit. There we go. I was right. The case drew Stevenson into a tangle of conspiracy, political machination, is that a word? And legal brinksmanship. Well, obviously it's a word. I just don't know how to pronounce it. And transformed his understanding of mercy and justice forever. I've seen Bryan Stevenson speak, and I can't wait to read this book. I should have read it a long time ago, but my friend has it. I got Major Pettigrew's Last Stand by Helen Simonson. I've heard that this kind of has similar vibes as Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine, and I loved that book, so I'm sure I'll like this one. I picked up The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I'm gonna stop. This was like the first thriller that I remember reading that had my jaw drop because it was such a phenomenal twist. And I really love this book. And I don't have a copy of it, now I do. I haven't read anything else by him yet, but I have The Maidens up there, and I'm interested in The Fury too. So I don't know. I'm happy to own this one. And like I said, I'd love to give books, lend out books, and I feel like if someone comes to my library and says, I would like a psychological thriller that has me constantly guessing, I'd hand them this book. I got a William Kent Kruger. I don't even know what number this is in his Iron Lake series, or his his Cork O'Connor series, but I saw it and I just couldn't not get it. It looks like it's number 12, Northwest Angle. I don't know. I've heard you don't have to read them in order, but I own the first in the series, Iron Lake, and I want to eventually read all of them, but there's like 20, so that's a huge commitment, but at least I own number 12. I'm ridiculous. Okay, I also bought Pachinko, which, tell me why I now have 3 copies of Pachinko in my house. One, I swear was my mom's copy, but she swears it's mine, and so it's now sitting on my coffee table over there. Don't know who it actually belongs to, but I guess it's mine now. I also have a hardcover copy up here somewhere that my dog ate, so that's why I bought this one to replace that one, but now I just have 3 copies of the book. It's a really great book. I think I gave it 5 stars. It is a multi-generational saga about women in both China and Japan. And yeah, their lives. It's great. It's really, really good. And if me owning 3 copies isn't enough of an endorsement for you, I don't know what is. Okay, last stack of books. I don't know where to put these anymore. I'm running out of space. The last set of books I have just bought at stores randomly, or, I mean, this one I pre-ordered. This is volume 5 of Heartstopper by Alice Oseman. I pre-ordered this. It was delivered to me the day it came out, and I read it in a day, in 30 minutes, who knows, shortly after I received it. This is the penultimate volume in the Heartstopper series. It's about Nick and Charlie. This one wasn't my all-time favorite in the series, but I own all of them. I love them. If you just want a heartwarming story about 2 boys falling in love and figuring out who they are, pick this up. They're just so great. Okay. I had this grand idea of reading these in January for the Short Stack Readathon and then didn't get to them. But this is the first 3 in the Wayward Children series by Shauna Maguire. I have them in this cool box set, and they're very difficult to get out. There we go. Oh no, breaking the box. Okay, so Every Heart a Doorway, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, and Beneath the Sugar Sky. I think that these covers are super cool and beautiful, and I like the idea of these books. I did read one. I read the first one, Every Heart a Doorway, a long time ago. I think in my very first ever Bookopoly-thon, like 48-hour Bookopoly-thon, and any book I read in that 48 hours went right over my head. I don't remember a thing. So I know that we're following children in a orphanage of sorts. It's Eleanor West's home for children, and these children belong in different worlds, find their homes in different worlds, and we see them travel through doors to these worlds, but then also when they come home from the worlds, they're at Eleanor's house and dealing with being not in their home. I'm explaining this really well. I also listened to it, and I think reading them physically will be better for me. So that's those 3 books. Got them at Half Price Books for half price. Don't worry, my husband and I tried to figure out the percentage of how much I paid of these books, and it is actually half price. We're idiots. Okay, and the last book I literally just picked up today because I was browsing at Sam's Club and I saw it for less than $9. The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. This won Goodreads Book of the Year in the mystery thriller category a couple years ago, and I want to figure out what it's all about. From behind closed doors, she sees everything. Welcome to the family, Nina Winchester says as I shake her elegant, manicured hand. I smile politely, gazing around the marble hallway. Working here is my last chance to start fresh. I can pretend to be whoever I like, but I'll soon learn that the Winchesters' secrets are far more dangerous than my own. I want to read this. That's the reason why I bought it. Okay, how many books did I actually buy? 25 books have been hauled. Some of them I read when I was a middle grader, but now I'm happy to own them. Some of them I haven't gotten to yet, but I'm still very excited to read. Let me know in the comments down below if you have read any of these and what you think I should pick up first. I would love to have some bookish conversation with you down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video on your way out. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more bookish and bullet journaling content from me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.